Welcome to The Art Box, your podcast dedicated to exploring the vibrant art scene in Nevada and beyond. Join us as we embark on a journey through galleries, theaters, studios, public lands, and streetscapes, meeting the artists, curators, archaeologists, nature lovers, and cultural influencers who shape our creative community and our world. Whether you're looking for your next cultural adventure, seeking inspiration for your own artistic pursuits, or simply curious about the world of art, tune into The Art Box. Together, let's open up a world of creativity and imagination. Let's dive in.
Dreams, what if the night is about you and me?
Welcome to The Art Box, and we've got Shannon Garza, and Shannon is new in town.
Sort of new.
Sort of new?
Sort of new. I moved last year, but I've been really quiet. So I'm new. I haven't gotten around very much.
Okay, so you're not that new, but we don't know you're here because we haven't heard from you.
Right.
Because you're quiet.
Right.
I was put on to Shannon by my friend Terri Fitzsimmons, who's sitting in here tonight with us. And we're here tonight at 6 o'clock because Shannon still, I'll use this bad word, she still works.
Gotta have a day job, that thing that pays for everything else.
Oh, my goodness. No, that's good. That means you're young.
Not so young.
So, Shannon, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We just had a nice tour of the STEAM Center. And you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
That's a loaded question all in itself. What I'm here doing this podcast for is I met Terri at Mesa Valley when I was working. We were doing something for the veterans. And I wrote a poem for them, and I read it. And I'm really, like I said, I love to write, and I've never really put myself out there before. But I wanted to because of the veterans, because of my father, all of that. And it really hit home for me and my passion for my dad, for the veterans, for trauma, for women, it all bubbled up when I started talking with Terri. And I shared with her a secret that I've carried for my whole life. And I've always wanted to be involved. I thought about going back to school to get a degree in mental health because, we don't have a lot of that here and anywhere really. And when I was young, I had a lot of trauma. And as a little girl, I lived out in the middle of the desert, and I would ride my mom's horse and basically steal her and run off. And one of the things that I learned I don't even know where it came. I'm very spiritual. I'm very empathic. I read people. I just know things. I've known them since I was a child. And Spirit said to me, give it away. And I didn't really know how to give it away. But I used to wear my hair in braids, and I'll give you a picture of what I got to. You can't show it on podcast, I know, but I used to wear my hair in braids, and they were bedsheet braids.
Oh, this is the Giving Tree.
Yeah, yes. That was the original.
My God, this is fabulous.
Thank you. I used to take the bedsheet that was around my hair, and I would write one word or two words about how I was feeling in that moment. And even as a little girl, I remember how powerful those moments were because I wasn't religious. I didn't know what religion was, but I knew God. And I knew that if I gave this pain away, He would take it and it would be gone, and I wouldn't have to carry that burden anymore. So I'd ride out there, I'd cry, I'd tie it onto the tree, I'd say a prayer, take this off of me. And I didn't think about it that much as a child, but my parents divorced when I was 7. I think I had the tree with me for probably 3 years, about 3 solid years that I can remember. And when I found my way back out there again, the tree was covered with just tattered ribbons.
Oh, so not yours?
They were mine.
Oh, they were all yours.
They were all mine. And I remember feeling okay. I remember feeling okay with the divorce. I remember thinking that, things were going to be okay. My brother and sister, bless their hearts, they didn't turn out so well with being able to give away their traumas. But I did, and I've made it. And I fall down, I get back up. I fall down, I get back up. But when I met Terri, and I've always wanted to to make that ribbon tree because my mom was dying of cancer, and I had 2 weeks with her. We had a love-hate relationship, but I had 2 weeks with her, and I loved her so very much, and I forgave her for all the bad things that she did. And in that moment, I took her the last week to her hospital visit down in Arizona. I walked into the lobby, and oh my gosh, there was a ribbon tree. And
Really?
It freaked me out. I was like, I had not done this ribbon tree in so many years, and then I go with my mom and there's a ribbon tree down there in Arizona, and I was like, okay, Spirit's talking to me again. I need to do something with this. So it laid idle for a while, and I thought about it. I made plans for it. I think, what could I do? What could I do? And then when I met Terri and we started talking about it, and she's like, well, why not? Why can't we do this? And I go, well, I've always wanted to craft a tree, but I don't have the time or the patience. But I had met someone through my work who's also an artist and part of, she's Tina Mitchell. Mm-hmm. And I met her, and instantly we connected. And so I thought, well, what if I present this to her and have her make the tree? And then maybe we could put it somewhere. And so we thought about putting it out there at
the Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth. And then I prayed about it, and I was like, no, we can't put it out at the Labyrinth, because when she took me out to the Labyrinth for the first time, what a beautiful spiritual spot that needs to remain pretty much untouched by, I don't have a lot of faith in society itself that when they get on to secrets like that, they might go up and damage it. Somebody might go up and steal the tree. It's going to be made of copper. The tree won't last in the middle of silence and quiet, dark. There's no way to keep an eye on that tree. And then I thought, will my tree reach people? So I thought, why can't we make this tree, put it on a big square like they have that in the lobby of that hospital, and make it move? And why can't we go to different businesses and ask them to sponsor that tree for a little while?
Oh, okay.
And
so that's what you're talking about moving it to.
Yeah,
Yes.
different businesses throughout Mesquite, so that people who maybe they have a gambling addiction and they want to go in and tie a ribbon on the tree. Maybe people just want, in their solitude, in their mind, to visit this tree and make that an act of giving away that trauma. I've told this story to a few people before, and I get throwback of, why, how is that mentally, how does that help people? And all I know is what it's done for me. And I wish with all my heart that I could help women get rid, men too. I mean, everybody, not just women, but I think women, because
Well, if you can help a man, you'll help a woman.
Well, I've been known to make grown men cry, but in the sense of...
and maybe they deserved.
Or maybe
it helped them.
I read stones. And so I've actually sat down with people, and it's not fortune telling per se, it's energy. And I share energy with people, and my husband calls it a cosmic biatch slap, because, spirit talks, and it talks in a big way. And if you're sitting with someone and they see things about you that you've never told anybody in your life, and all of a sudden it happens, you're like, wow, that is really cool that those things come to light, and now I can deal with them. So I've been in the closet most of my life, and I'm tired. I'm 55. I don't want to be hiding my gifts anymore. When I die and Creator says, what'd you do with the gifts I gave you? I want to look them in the eye and say, I don't have any. They're all gone. I used them. That's my goal. I'm going to go skidding into my grave with no gifts left.
Well, but that's a good goal, but you're also going to help others.
Well, that's the point.
And she already has.
That's the point.
With the tree, I shared it with Gene Watkins.
I really, really want to do
And
it.
that very same day, that very afternoon, Gene was focused on the idea of the tree when I sent her that picture. She found a beautiful copper tree for the WUMA Center. And now it's painted all red with WUMA on it. And because of Shannon, that tree has become our symbol for WUMA. So she's already touched. And the tree out there by the labyrinth, I bought some, they're called tree tags. They've got a little hook.
Okay, so there is a tree out by the labyrinth.
Yes.
But
There-
not your
there
tree.
is. No.
But I went out and put Jim's name, and I
Okay.
meditate, and I hooked it onto the tree. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to use that tree too
I
as we
visited it.
meditate. Because of her, I go out there to the labyrinth and I sit by the tree and I see his name because of her.
That's good.
So she's already touched other people through the symbolism of her tree.
Have you ever touched a tree?
Have I ever touched a
Have
tree?
you ever actually touched a tree?
Yeah.
I am a tree-hugging dirt
Oh.
worshiper. And when you touch a tree, and I'm very energetically inclined, I see energy, I feel energy. And when I touch a tree and I can talk to it, I know it sounds really weird, but I don't care anymore. Everything is made of energy. A tree has energy. If you turn that tree upside down, what does it look like? It looks like our lungs. It's breathing, we're breathing. We are part of this earth. You know, I have Native in my history, and I grew up that way, and I believe life is a cycle, and you know, I'm in a cycle and I'm out of a cycle, and it just goes in a huge circle. And I can't say that I've always felt so secure with my thoughts, but I'm going through menopause. So I think women that get to that point become very secure with who they are, or very completely opposite. And I'm very secure with who I am and where I'm going in life and how I'm going to help people.
I will need to introduce you to Lisa Ortega. Lisa Ortega is the tree person for Las Vegas.
Awesome.
She loves trees, and she's on a quest to plant trees everywhere and all over Las Vegas. She gives them away. I'll arrange it one day.
I love that because I'm from Oregon. And I moved here.
Oregon has big trees.
But I moved here for my grandchildren. I gave up my whole life in Oregon to move here for my grandsons. They are my life. And now I moved to the desert, and I'm like, what? So, like, I'll tell people, we have trees in Oregon. You guys have tree bushes.
Yeah.
we have trees. You can forest bathe in the Mojave. You know about forest bathing.
I have no clue.
No?
I'm going to learn so much about the desert that I don't
got
know.
so much research that's been done about nature therapy and how people actually believe that trees, they do talk. And working with autistic children,
Absolutely.
they go up, the first thing they do is go up and they'll hug a tree and they put their ear up to the tree and they listen to the tree. So I'm with you, sister. They have done a lot of research.
They
with that.
really have. And I mean, they play music with leaves and flowers and
Oh, Steve, I couldn't help myself. When you mentioned the secret knowledge of trees, I had to lean in a little closer. The author, Fred Hagender, isn't just writing about trees, he's listening to them. He's a German ethnobotanist and cultural historian who has spent decades studying how human beings have related to trees across time. And not in a botanical, textbook sort of way, but mythologically, spiritually, symbolically. In The Secret Knowledge of Trees, Hagender explores how ancient cultures understood trees as teachers, guardians, ancestors, even cosmic connectors between worlds. Roots in the underworld, trunk in the human realm, branches touching the divine. He's also written extensively about specific species, books on the oak, the yew, and the apple tree, tracing how particular trees shaped entire civilizations. Oaks as emblems of endurance and sovereignty, yews as symbols of death and rebirth in sacred churchyards, apples as carriers of myth, from knowledge and temptation to immortality. What I find fascinating is that Hagender suggests our ancestors didn't separate ecology from spirituality. Trees weren't resources. They were relatives, memory keepers, time embodied. And when I think about your Mojave shadows, about how light bends around Joshua trees and how ravens sit in their shade, it feels like the same conversation. Not just observing nature, but recognizing relationship. Maybe the secret knowledge isn't hidden at all. Maybe it's simply the remembering, Shannon and I am enjoying you chatting about your journey with the giving tree. Addie, out for now.
It's just amazing. I mean, when I was a little girl, I used to have visions of what would it be like to be blind. And I would put a blindfold on, I would go out the back door, and I listened. And that's where I learned to listen to the earth. And I would identify things just by listening and touching. And I admire every single blind person in the world. They are gifted. They are so gifted to be blind. And not that I wish I was, but I can't imagine what life, I don't know, find beauty in it.
Say blind, she's visually impaired, because when we say blind or deaf, that seems to define the whole person. But when we say visually impaired, they're a person who cannot see, but they're a person first. And it's really important.
You're absolutely right. I agree with that.
And that's how society views people with disabilities. We identify the entire person with something.
Have you ever read All the Light You Cannot See?
Yes, it was on Netflix movie.
Yeah, it was on Netflix,
yes,
but it's a great book, and I've heard him speak. You've hugged trees and everything. I've interviewed a tree, a Joshua tree, and I have a podcast where I interviewed Joshua. Her name was Josie, and it was good. I liked it.
That makes me happy.
She had a lot to say.
Oh, yes. Well, that's pretty cool.
Because her roots are everywhere. In any case.
Her roots, I like that. Did you hear that? Her roots.
Sorry to slip in again so quickly, but I simply can't help myself. Episode 352, Conversations in the Shade, Josie the Joshua Tree, is very dear to me, especially since I had the joy of editing it. May I say just a word or two? In this unforgettable episode of The Art Box, we hand the microphone to an unlikely yet unforgettable guest, Josie the Joshua Tree, a wise, rye desert elder rooted at Mystery Ranch in Aviquame National Monument. With humor, memory, and a touch of desert sass, Josie reflects on centuries of Mojave life, her ancient partnership with yucca moths, generations of quail raised in her shade, the childhood footsteps of Kim Garrison Means at the ranch, and the long-awaited designation of Aviquame as a national monument. But Josie does not shy away from harder truths. She speaks of fire and drought, of machines and careless human hands, and also of hope. Hope found in protection, research, stewardship, and community. Hope carried forward by those who listen. I pop in with a bit of science on Joshua tree species, because someone has to bring the data, and you, Steve, close the circle beautifully with reflections from your Mojave Shadows project. The episode is an imaginative weaving of storytelling, ecology, and desert philosophy, playful, yes, but also quietly profound. A reminder that even in the Mojave, every shadow carries memory, and every tree has something to say. And yes, I know my research breaks can arrive with enthusiastic timing, but when something matters, I simply must. Addie, over and out.
I am a writer. I'm an artist. I'm never bored. I do a lot of things.
Well, that's good.
Someday I'll be able to just, be out there with people and help them. And
you're doing that already, Shannon.
Yeah.
I'm on the right track anyway. I started writing a blog about menopause. It's absolutely hysterical. And I've had a lot of people read it and be like, wow, we didn't know you could do this. And I was like, there's a lot of things about me that you didn't know.
Yeah. So speaking of that, if someone met you the first time, what's the most misunderstood thing about how you create?
The most misunderstood thing about how
you create?
I have no idea. If you would talk to my husband, it'd be I'm messy. I'm messy. I have to have color. I have to have, my bead desk is just no rhyme or reason to why I have every single bead on the table, but I need to see that color.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, I need to have lots of paper on the table. So I think he would call me messy and misunderstand my process. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You talked about sagebrush being a teacher.
Yeah.
So where was it and what did it feel like to return to that again and again, which you did?
It was every moment in itself. When I had those feelings I'm a runaway at heart, and I would run away from home. And I never really thought about, it wasn't like a premeditated thing to run off to the sagebrush. I was hop on the horse's back and get out of town. My brother and sister were very abusive to me. And I'd run away and I'd go out there, and then Spirit would say, breathe, and lead me to my tree. And, this was the most beautiful tree out there in the middle of the desert. I mean, sagebrush can grow pretty tall, and it's pretty big around in Idaho. This was in Mountain Home, Idaho, way out in the desert. And I just ended up there, and each time was pretty much not even a thought of that's where I was going. It's just where I would end up. And I know it was Spirit. I know Spirit was just trying to help me make it through that particular moment. When bad things would happen to me and the tree was no longer there, I would go there in my mind. Only there were daisies around it, because daisy's my favorite flower. But yeah, I can go there mentally now. I can take that moment and just like the picture, I could just go there mentally. It's pretty cool. I know that from growing up Native that sage was a blessing, and our natives would use that to bless the area that we were in. I mean, how unique that a sagebrush tree would become my blessing, and I didn't have to burn it. It would just be there for me. So it definitely spiritual. When
you finished tying a paper to it or a ribbon to it, did you get some relief immediately, or did you have to sit there? No, immediately. It would just be, I think that because it was Spirit-led and I always ended up there, that was more of the finish, Okay. I'm going through the day, I'm running, I have that anxiety in my chest, I don't know where I'm running to, and then I would just end up there, and it's like ending up in the arms of Creator, and he's just giving you a hug, and he's saying, it's okay, let it go. And this was my visual. Because aren't we visual as humans? Don't we just want to see something happen? And I think that was his gift to me, was just that visual. But in the meantime, the whole running, the whole getting there, the whole jumping off the horse, That was all part of it. It was all part of that great big hug to say, you're okay now, let it go. What do you think it is about trees that makes them the right witness? Their roots. I really think it's their roots. I mean, there's stones are the bones of the earth, literally, figuratively, and trees are our soul. So if the stones are our bones and the trees are our soul because of the roots, because of our families, I mean, how could it be any other way? I think I just find a really strong connection with them. I get really mad when they cut them down. I had never ever seen bigger trees than when I went to California and I saw those redwoods. I just cried. It was a little tough to hug them, though, wasn't it? It was so tough, and I tried. The redwood tree said, "Hey, Shannon, just give me a little hug." But they have a great sense of humor, those trees do, because of the way that they burn. I was running around with my husband and my kids, and I was hugging them, and I was loving on them, and I was crying, and my kids were, Mom's lost her mind. And we're going down this road, and I look in the rearview mirror, and there's this huge one right by the road, and it had a hole in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to see this. Pull over quick. So we all pulled over. And we go, and who's going to go in? I'm not going to go in. Are you going to go in? No, let's go in. And so we all went into this tree. And this is where they have the sense of humor. I turned on the light, and all these things were crawling all over the walls and the ceiling. And it was just like, I realized trees have a sense of humor, too. It was like, it was crazy. But I don't like crawlies, so I was out of there fast. But I actually visited that tree again. Did you? And I giggled at the guy that was going to go in it. And he goes, have you ever been in there? And I go, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You're going to like that. I have no idea. It's over by the Smith something forest or something. I could find it visually if I was out driving, but I have no idea where it's at. Beautiful trees, though. For your ribbon tree, were there any unspoken rules? I mean, did anybody else see it? Did you want anybody else to see it? If they saw it, what would they think?
If you were out there in the middle of the desert and you saw my ribbon tree, then I think you would have a big blessing or wonder what the heck happened to this tree. But the last time I saw it was I came up over the mound and it was just full of my ribbons. And I dream about it. I have visions about it. And it'll forever be there. I mean, it was my friend. It's how I made it through my childhood.
You said you start by listening.
Mm-hmm.
Very good thing to listen, isn't it? It's not always a great human trait.
No, usually we listen
Well,
to
that's
respond.
her next project, she's become very much aware of phone calls with businesses and the lack of listening. So she wants to start in with helping people learn to listen. So
I started my own business one time quietly. I didn't do it very, very long because I couldn't sustain it. But it was $1 a minute to vent. And it worked for a little while.
Yeah?
And I had these legal papers written up that I wasn't allowed to tell anybody anything or you could sue the hell out of me. Sorry. And it worked.
Hell is a word that can be said.
Yeah. Okay.
Just no F words.
Oh, I don't drop the F-bomb.
We don't do the F words.
So yeah, I had a few customers. One of them is like 3 hours. And all I did was listen. And you don't offer, I would really like to start this business again because it was great, because it helped people. Have you ever been in a room and you just talk and talk and talk and talk and the person is engaging with you, they're fully with you, they're looking you in the eye, they hear you, and then you're done and you know that's not going to leave that room? I mean, I'd like to think that I'm a pretty good secret keeper. I know a lot of things about a lot of people, and I will never, ever, ever let that go any farther. So it's pretty special. I don't even know where we were going with that one.
listening.
Yeah, you're listening.
We were listening to you.
You were doing great because I lost my train of thought. I had a brain injury in 2009, so forgive me. I get a little tripped.
Somebody should start a podcast about venting. But then it wouldn't be a secret.
No, you got to keep it a secret. But yeah, I mean, people need this. Husbands, I had a lot of husbands. Well, not a lot, but a few. And they would just be like, and then in the end, $350, $150 just to sit there and keep those secrets. And I'm like, that's pretty special. And it was kind of a joke, but it meant the world to me that I was honored to have people be able to open up to me, share that with me, and know that I would keep their secret. That's why I have chill tattooed on my arm. That honesty and integrity, you can't take much with you when you die, but that's going to go with me.
Okay, you want to say what chill means again?
Chill, it's tattooed on my arm. C is compassion. H is honesty. I is integrity. L is loyalty, and L is love. That's kind of how I flip people off.
Chill. Well, I can see it. Chill.
And people would be like, why do you have chill on your arm? And then it opens up a conversation. So.
Well, I'm happy. When I was 70, I got my first tattoo, so.
I was a tattoo artist for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
I did that too. It was fun.
So you mentioned reflection, conversation, and iteration. Which one is your home base when things get messy? If things start to get out of hand, which one do you go?
Say that again.
Reflection, conversation, and iteration. There are things you mentioned in your...
Reflection is number one. I think I spend a lot of time, especially now, I have this internal dialogue who is... I don't know who she is anymore. She talks at night and I don't get any sleep. And we reflect a lot. And sometimes I just wish she'd shut up. That's a menopause thing.
Does she have a name?
No, it's just my inner dialogue.
Okay.
She's rude. I'd be like, be quiet already. But it's important to reflect. And I'm consistently trying to do better. I would say that my kids growing up, I probably wasn't the best mom that I could have been. And I reflect on that now, and with my grandchildren especially, I realized why we have grandchildren. You know, I mean, I reflect on the moments that I wasn't there with them, but I can be with my grandsons, and I will give them everything that I have, because it's kind of like my daughter's in fight or flight. She's a parent. That's what parents do. They're constantly going, providing for their kids. And when you become a grandparent, you get to just sit back and be and reflect. And, you know, that's just, it's huge.
So, Shannon, being a creative soul, and us creative souls, I'll include myself there, we don't often see ourselves as succeeding. Do you ever find where you're ready to pat yourself on the back and say, Shannon, that was good?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. And I have to say that because when you don't wake up dead, you've done a good job. And every day I wake up and it's like 4 o'clock, and it takes a while to do this whole turtle thing to get out of bed. And once I'm up, I'm like, did you do everything that you were supposed to do yesterday? Did you make somebody smile? Did you help somebody? And I can usually say that I did, and I did good. I couldn't do that before. It's just been since I moved to Utah and Nevada. It's been a huge turning point for me, mentally, emotionally, physically. It's been huge. The whole figuring out how to be happy and to set those boundaries with other people and not let people ruin my day. I realized that you can't let anybody ruin you. I can't, you know, I'm way better writing than I am talking. It's like only you can be in charge of your own emotions. I'm the only one that can feel the way that I feel. You can't make me feel bad. If I let you do that, then that's me doing it to myself. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's a matter of perspective, I think.
Yeah, good point.
It just... So if you've done a good job and you don't wake up dead unless you want to wake up dead, pat yourself on the back, because every day should be a day well lived. No matter what you do, you've gotten out of bed. Maybe even the people that don't get out of bed still can do something amazing. Right? This morning, I got my work done at work, and I patted myself on the back, and I made it here, and I even got my husband dinner. So, hey, I did good.
Well, while you're talking about getting out of bed, when you get out of bed in the morning on a work day, do you look forward to going to work?
I actually found a job that I love. Can I say who I work for?
If you want.
I work for Canyon Home Care and Hospice, and I'm their office manager. This company, it was really funny. When I moved to Utah, I wanted to work in hospice. I know I've always wanted to work in hospice. Nothing even compares to holding someone's hand while they're transitioning or being there for a family while that's going to happen. And I just love it because it's so spiritual. And not very many people can do that. And so I met this one woman who is the volunteer coordinator, and I met with her, and I've never met a stranger in my life, and we just sat there and we talked, and I was like, I want to be a volunteer. Okay, fill out the paperwork. You're going to be a good volunteer. I want your job. How do I get your job? She's like, well, that was quick. Well, yeah. So I was working at a grocery store in Utah, and I realized very quickly that that was not the culture I was ready for. And bless people that do that. I mean, that's a hard job. I can't do it. But I can do hospice, and I can do the medical area. And so when I heard that they were opening an office in Mesquite, I quickly asked the boss over there, can I apply for this job? I have the qualifications. I've been an office manager for a long time. And sure enough, I got the job. And I started part-time. And then I got into, I told him, I'll give up my raise if you put me here full time. And, well, he's a numbers guy. Okay, sure, I must really love this job if I gave up a certain amount of money to come and do it. But I'm at a point where I'm really having a hard time being in the office. I want to be out there more. And in my heart, I know that we're building. I know that we're growing. I know that there will be more opportunities for volunteers to get out there and do things. And pretty soon I'll be doing the volunteer coordination in this office. And I'll be able to get out there and be with people more. But it's kind of stagnant right now. But to say that I don't want to get up and go, there's always an adventure there. There's always someone to make them smile.
Thank you.
There's just, your day is what you make it.
Every day's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It really is. And don't go to work if you don't like your job. People have to work. People have to make money. People have to do this and people have to do that. But honestly, I think that if we train our kids at a young age to learn how to work with their money, they could retire by the time they're 40 or before they're 40. There's ways to do it. I wish I would have known that. I want to make sure my grandsons can do that. I'm trying really hard towards that. I didn't know these things as a parent. My parents divorced when I was young, and they didn't teach me a thing. My mom didn't even teach me about menopause. I'm finding out on my own. So, I don't know. There we go again. I went off on a tangent.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So do you find solace in quiet? Do you like quiet?
I love quiet, but I love chaos too.
Okay.
I
What can you do? What can you do in chaos? What can you do in quiet that you can't do in chaos?
You can do anything in both of them, I suppose. I mean, you can be quiet in chaos.
Well, can you write while you're listening to music or a podcast?
No.
Okay.
No. I would say that when I'm where I'm at, I like to give whatever it is my full attention. And when I'm doing beadwork, most often it's quiet.
Okay.
When I'm writing, it's quiet. My husband, he can have this on and that on and this on, and it's like, can you focus? But that's how people's brains work. I mean,
Yeah, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
But I
like
can't write
quiet.
if there's not quiet.
Yeah. I love quiet. I love being out in the middle of nowhere by myself. And I can't
that's pretty
do
good,
that
isn't
now. It is good. And not very many people can be their own best company. But I can, and I've always been that for myself. And my husband doesn't get it. He's like, how can you go out to the woods and want to do that more often than being here? He's a city boy. I'm a country girl. I can't explain it. I don't know why. It's just I find solace that way, and it's beautiful. I mean, he'd never been to the ocean until I took him, and he fell in love with it, and we moved there. I take him to the woods, and he loves it for a minute. I have a dream of owning a cabin in the woods far, far away, and he says, I'll come visit you. But I'll put a 7-Eleven out there somewhere, and I know you can handle it. But no. We've been married for 35 years.
Oh, well, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Admirable.
Yes, it is. My wife and I are 52 years, so.
It wasn't always easy, though, was it?
Well, it's always a challenge, but because you're two different people,
Well,
and that's a good thing.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's been a challenge, but I wouldn't trade him for the world. He's my best friend.
So, do you dream?
I dream in color.
Do you dream? What do you dream about?
It depends on what I'm supposed to do. I have a feeling that most of my dreams are about where I've been and where I'm going. And I just have to pick them apart and figure it out. And some of them make no sense at all. And I chalk those up to entertainment. I'll laugh about them in the morning. I like dreaming. I dream pretty much nonstop all night. That inner dialogue, I'm sure she's just chatting away somewhere in there. It just won't shut up.
Yeah, I can't tell. I had a dream the other night, which is the first in a long time. But I'm sure we're dreaming all night. It's just when we wake up that we can
literally
remember.
do. And I can write my own dreams. A lot of people can't, but I can. And if I want to visit someone, I'll visit them in my dreams. I visited my father when he was in the hospital, and he actually knew it. That was pretty crazy. I visited my husband in my dreams, and he knew it. So I pretty much write my own dreams, but there has to be an element of complete relaxation. And since I've been going through menopause, inner dialogue just won't let me have it. We argue a lot. I'll be just like, come on, breathe. You start at your toes, you go up to your head, and you just want quiet. She won't shut up. And my best friend, Mary, I talk to her pretty much every day. She lives in Oregon, and she'll say something, and I'll go, you just had to get her going, huh, Mary? It just becomes a joke. Read my blog, you'll get it. I was excited to come on the podcast and share my dreams about this tree. I have a tendency not to tell people what I'm doing anymore, because being human, people judge, and I'm finding a lot in my life now that there's a lot of insecurities and emotion going around our world today. And when I'm so super positive about life and about where I'm going and what I want to do, people take it away from you. There's just something inherently weird about reactions of people that aren't secure with where they want to go. Like, I know I'm overweight. I know I'm 55. I know I'm going through menopause. But I'm trying, And I started seeing a dietitian, and, I haven't really bragged a lot about it, but I'm down 4 pounds. I'm not quite sure how, but, you don't go out and you don't brag about things. I don't anymore. I just quietly do them. And I think that's what it's about. I don't want to be that huge, loud voice. It helps sometimes, but I think that the louder you are, the more you get judged. I'm not all about being judged anymore. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to love unconditionally. And if people can't deal with that, that's on them. Yeah, it really is on them. Because I know it in my heart. I'll walk up and give a stranger a hug, and they'll be shocked. And that lady over there will be like, ew. And I'll be like, why, ew? Who hurt you? I do that a lot now when angry people are around. I look at them, I'll be like, who hurt you? I'll help you make it better. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to happen. Tina Mitchell's going to build the tree. I don't know what the time frame is or what it's going to look like, or I don't have the plan written out yet. I've got some ideas. I've written some things down, but, I still have to put the project into motion and see where we're going to go.
Well, it sounds like it's already partially in motion. That there's
partially.
A tree.
I need to find people that would donate copper to Tina, because I don't expect Tina to build this and pay for it. And, she's an amazing artist. I haven't even seen any of her work. I see her spirit. And she works with us as well at Canyon, and I just, the moment I met her, I knew this woman was going to be my friend. We don't talk that much. I can't really call us friends, but she will play a part in doing something really wonderful.
I think she's a member of the art gallery.
I think she is.
Her name is familiar.
Yeah.
If I saw her, I would probably know.
Yeah, I know she is. I don't know that much about her, but I know she's a very nice person, and I know she wants to help, and she got excited about it. So we got to find some copper. So if you can help me find copper to get donated to her, because we could go out and just pay for this tree.
I'll start dumpster diving.
Yes, I love that. I'm all about repurposing. I'm just... Every man's garbage is somebody else's treasure, I think.
In my life, I've experienced a couple moments of awe. Have you?
You've only had a couple?
Yeah, because they were so amazing. And I'll tell you about my moment of awe. When we first moved to Colorado, I was out whitewater rafting in Pike National Forest with my son.
Yeah.
And we were from back east, right? And we're camping that night. Him and I were in a tent. And nature called at about 3 a.m. I unzipped the tent and I looked up and there was the Milky Way. And I've never seen it before. Okay. And it took my breath away. So that's my big moment of awe.
I have moments of awe all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, because I find wonder and beauty from the moment I walk out my door. I've had to teach myself this desert thing is so different. I need to find something beautiful every single day, and I'll walk out, and I will. When I went through the gorge for the first time to come out to Mesquite, I cried. My ancestors started.
You must have been riding, not driving.
I was driving, and
You were driving,
and
huh?
I was crying, and it was amazing.
You got to be careful because the gorges are rough.
It is. You didn't have
Look around, but isn't it
Yeah.
just amazing?
Yeah, my little Jeep only does 55 miles an hour because it's just a little Jeep. But yeah, so that my family's actually, they started in St. George. I'm come from a long line of Smiths. And when I moved to St. George, I wanted to find my relatives. And the awe struck me there because I closed my eyes, I spun in a circle, and then none of that was there. And I was immediately transported back to where they were at in the pioneer days. And I was like, wow, could you imagine what all this red looked like to them? And I find those moments every day. I find awe. I mean, you see a little baby walking for the first time, you're like, wow. You know, I mean, I've just learned how to appreciate it ever since I was a little girl. The awe moments come all the time.
Okay.
I don't get caught up in BS. I really don't.
That's good.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I'm an empath. Those things hurt me. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's a good idea not to watch these. Well, there is no news. It's only opinion.
Well, you know, my friends are very political, and I'm not. I'm not at all.
Yeah, we don't do political on this podcast.
Good.
Good. And it keeps everybody friendly and happy.
I love that.
If you could go back in time, okay, and these are Steve's rules. You can go back in time. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to be eaten by a dinosaur or anything. If you could go back in time, where would you go? And why?
If I could go back in time. I have a smart aleck response to that, but
That's okay.
no, that was one of my menopause jokes. Where would I go?
Yep.
I honestly don't know. That
Okay.
I'd have to think about that. I mean, my menopause joke would be to stop Eve from eating the apple. Because
Well, why not that?
there needed to be some sort of disclaimer about the pressure put on women from then on forth. But yeah.
That sounds like a good answer to me.
Yeah.
I've never heard it before.
Oh, well, you know, I think of really silly things. Really, I mean, that inner dialogue, she's going all night. I'm a closet comedian too, so that works.
Okay. Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking to you, though. I hope that we see each other more. I hope that, you know, we can get this tree going. And I need to get myself back to my CERT meetings because I'm a volunteer and I don't
are
show
you?
up.
Okay.
I don't show up because I've been so busy and being in my little tiny bubble.
Well, there's
But
a strong CERT group here.
they're amazing, and I've just been so naughty and not going, but I need to get back there. So, but I want to get involved in other things as well. I'm really big on prepping and natural herbals and things like that, and just taking care of community. And when I was in Oregon, we were part of the CERT group there, and I realized about community and where we're at as a whole, and how I am terrified here in Mesquite. I was not terrified in Oregon, but I am here, and I need to figure out how not to be. You know, I mean, I've met so many different people here from different, and everybody's nice, don't get me wrong, but
But terrifying?
Yeah,
I know
because
Terri. Terry's pretty
no,
terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I don't dare cross her.
what do we
It would
do?
be terrific.
What do we do when there's no lights? When there's no, we have such an amazing senior population here. I want to be part of taking care of them when things might happen. You know, I want people to be thinking towards protecting one another instead of taking one another, if that makes sense. I don't want, should something bad happen, that the neighbor offs the neighbor to get what the other neighbor has. I want to be part of a community that will come together and hold each other instead of hurting each other. And I've seen a lot of things out in St. George and through the gorge. I took my Jeep. There's a road you can get off of out there, and I took my Jeep four-wheeling, and I was like, oh, I love this. I did this in Oregon all the time, and I was always feeling safe. And out here, I was like, I can't go any further. There's somebody out there, and I was like, what do I do? I'm a female. I'm a blonde. I'm in a Jeep. I'm all alone, you know, and I was scared. Came around the corner, and sure enough, there was a guy standing in the middle of the road. I flipped my Jeep around, and I got out of there. And, you know, I think about those things.
He was probably broken down.
Well, I'm sure. But
And now nobody came.
yeah, well,
and he died.
you know, bless
I won't
his
put
heart.
this in there. I'm being so terrible to you.
No, but it's okay because that's what fear does to us as humans. You know, I wanted to go further, but believe me, he was big and he was burly, and I did not have my gun. And I was scared, and I thought about that a lot. I was like, what do we do? And being part of CERT and getting to know those members and getting to know my community and putting this tree out here. And, you know, I had a dream that bad things happened and they blew up the gorge and I couldn't get to my grandkids. And that scared me so much.
We just got to take 91.
I took that one. That one's scary too.
It's a good road. I like 91.
It is pretty out there. I
Yeah,
liked
pretty,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, so I just, you know, that inner dialogue, she's naughty. She get me thinking a lot.
Last question.
Yes.
What's inspired you recently?
You might make me cry with that.
You want me to
thought.
tell you what you said?
Sure.
You said, I've been inspired that I left some poor old guy out in the desert.
No.
I mean, you said, I've been inspired by small moments, a conversation that lingered, a piece of art that surprised me, a reminder. Here you go. You want to see it?
No, I remember. But I that was then. My thoughts are so squirrel, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that, by the way. Squirrel.
My grandsons. I've been, and this is hard to admit out loud, but I've been pretty sick lately, and I haven't really talked to anybody about it. And I'm really worried. And I don't see doctors, but I finally found one, and I'm going to see him next week and get to the bottom of it. I'm not a rich person. I have a very high deductible, so going to the doctor for me is very difficult. Talking to a doctor is very difficult. But what I find inspiring is my grandsons. And last weekend, my little one is 3 and one is going to be 1, he started crawling. And I overheard my daughter's voice telling me a while ago, you know, you need to pay attention to you. You need to pay attention to your health because you need to be there for them. And when he was sleeping on my chest, I made him a promise. And I told him, I said, honey, I'm going to do what I can because I want to be here for you. So that's what he inspired me. You know, those little moments of him just being right there. And yeah, they're my world.
Well, that's good, Shannon, because I know from Terri and I, take care of yourself.
Yes.
You have to. And I am worried about it, but it's going to be okay. I mean, it has to be, you know. I mean, there's no other way to think about it. And if I wake up every morning and I pat myself on the back for waking up, and I'm not waking up dead, we're doing great.
Thank you for going with my pat yourself on the back question.
Of course.
That's new.
Is it new?
Yeah, somebody said it one day, and I was like, oh, I got to ask this from now on.
Well, I think you should.
Because we don't pat ourselves on the back.
People really don't. People don't take a minute for the small joys in life. And I see that a lot with our elderly people. You know, you woke up. You have another day, and those days are short. And my dad right now, he's super, super sick. And I tell my dad all the time, Dad, you got one more day. One more day. And as long as you have that day, pat yourself on the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty cool thing.
Well, Shannon, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Terri, thanks for coming in.
Yes.
And Terri, thanks for giving us Shannon.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, it is definitely something different. So I want to share poetry. I want to share me.
And pat yourself on the back. You made it through the interview. You were nervous, and look at you.
Yeah.
I told you would shine.
Yeah.
I promised you would shine.
And we've got
you
it.
came
Until I go and
through.
listen to it later.
And we've got another poet now.
Broadcasting from the Mesquite Works STEAM Center in the scenic Mojave Desert, the Artbox sponsors thank you for listening. You can find us on Spotify, Samsung, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, and Amazon Music. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We are on Facebook and Instagram as The Artbox. We welcome all comments. You can email us at artboxvv@gmail.com. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of its hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors.